Hello there, Bick Benedict here. We're playing Gears of War 3 on the Series X, and this is my insane difficulty guide and walkthrough. We're currently on Act 4-5. It is entitled Bon Voyage. So what you want to do over here is switch out I think it's a shotgun. Switch your shotgun for a couple of your teammates' long shots. That'll be much more helpful. You can pick some ammo over there. There's not much good shit over there. There's a Lancer. What else? I think there's a Lancer, like a hammer burst, and just a big pool of weapons. But you have a whole bunch of not juvies, but I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute, that faux pas. Because I was playing Gears of War 4 lately. Recently, I should say. But I've always hated these wretches. But the moment you kill the last wretch, it's going to checkpoint you. So try to checkpoint with what weapon you want, which, in my opinion, you would probably want the long shot over here. And I did a poor job of just running around executing these guys. It's not the best idea. Certainly the most dangerous and unpredictable. But, yeah, for this part, definitely keep your Lancer and then go for the long shot. The long shot's going to be instrumentally helpful over here. You've got you've got two guys on turrets at the very end. And there's also two carts with old ammunition on them. And what you don't want to do, because you can do it, is to throw an explosive. Do you see those missiles or shells that we were just aiming on? If you do hit those with like a torque bow or a boom shot, anything explosive, like a bomb too, one of your frags. Also, don't worry about frags over here. We're going to pick up some incendiaries when we leave this place. But don't shoot the carts if they're already on fire, because that's going to null and void your attempt to kill the snipers with those carts of shells. So the easiest thing to do really is to not even use the shells, but to snipe the Troika Manors by using the long shot. It's a lot more helpful. And if you do decide to push up and go to these carts and kick them down, you're going to spawn screamers. So while you are pushing the cart down, and while you might possibly have some immunity while you're doing that, the second you stop doing that, you're going to be in the midst of a whole bunch of screamers over here, unless your teammates have pulled shit out of their ass and did something positive and productive as far as killing those screamers. But let's be honest, they don't do jack shit when you want them to do anything. So, like I said, I'm just going to ignore those carts. But if you do want to interact with those carts, just go up to them and kick them. And then when they get to the bottom, they'll set on fire. You don't need to shoot. Let me just say this. It will not work if you shoot those shells with an explosive, which will cause those shells to go on fire. And then if you kick down the shells that are on fire to the sniper area, it's not going to work. So just kick the shells and don't put them on fire. Kick them down there. It'll work and kill those snipers. It should kill those snipers. But again, the easiest and safest way is just to pull back and just snipe them. Snipe their heads. Now up here, I had a situation, and I'm not sure if it was this particular, I think it was, where the only teammate that came out here and actually was a participant in this fight was Jace. The other two women, I don't remember their names, but one of them's Marcus's wife, and then the other one is Sam. Those two women were back by the elevator, just kind of stuck in the tunnel back there, and they weren't helping. So the first thing you need to do out here by far is to try to headshot the Cantus. And it's probably going to take you more than one headshot, even with a perfect active reloaded long shot round. You can also use your torque bow. And what I would recommend, though, is to have the torque bow, and you want to max out the torque bow as much as possible. Because, do you remember the path selection at the beginning of the video? The path selection is not really a selection so much. It's just which path do you want to do first, because you have to do both paths. So in the interest of having everybody, follow in the walkthrough in the most linear fashion on my own guide, I chose the left path first, which you don't have to do. But just bear in mind that you will have to do both paths. So if you choose the second path, you'll be doing the path we're doing now, secondly. So I just wanted to minimize confusion as much as possible and just do this first path first. Or this first choice. Well, it isn't a choice, is it? It's just the first path that you get to choose from, which is just press left on the press left trigger, and that should get you over to the path we're on. These Theron guards have a propensity for rushing and going into the area where we just were. Also, if you don't have a long shot over here, there's a long shot like right where I am right now that can give you some ammo for your long shot. And I must say, them not giving you long shot ammo for regular pickup boxes is just despicable. And it carries over to Gears of War 4 too. Because I was testing that game, I wanted to know what the active reload was all about. Because I thought that they allowed you to save an active reload on Gears of War 4, but I was mistaken. Because one of the things that you could really benefit from in games like this would be to, how you get your active reload? It would be nice if you could get your active reload and then switch back to, like before it stops flashing. See how it's flashing? Before it stops flashing, switch to another weapon. Use the other weapon until you want to. And then when you're ready to use the other weapon that you've got a perfect active reload on, you can go back to that weapon and it will have saved your perfect active reload. I thought by Gears of War 5 that would have been a mechanic that was in the game. But when I downloaded Gears of War 5 just to check that out, I found out that they don't let you save perfect active reloads because the perfect active reload is on a cooldown feature. And while you can save your next chance at getting, I'm talking about Gears 5, which I hate. Just call it Gears of War fucking 5, you bastards. Gears of War 5, call it Gears of War 5, you asses, you fucking shit asses. Gears of War 5 did everything they possibly could to differentiate, just to make waves and to be different. And that's what I hate about Gears of War 5. I've got to say I hate Gears of War 4 and I hate Gears 5. I just despise those games after coming back to them and just testing some things. I remember hating Kate's voice so much in the fourth game that I said, this woman should not have a voice. So I don't think she deserves a voice. So you can take that how you like, or you can just go into the audio settings and mute everybody, including her. I fucking hate her voice. It's so annoying. It's truly so annoying. And just all the repartee that you talk with your teammates during the fights, it just, amounting to they're just talking nothing and nonsense and just current events and shit. And there really seems like no camaraderie is built from that at all. It's just really poor, and it makes you feel like. Well, it makes me feel like I'm 44, right? Well, I'm gonna be 44. I'm 43 right now, but it makes me feel like I'm playing a game tailored to 8-year-olds because it's so fucking silly. But when I play Gears of War 3, I feel like a 44-year-old that's playing a game tailored to somebody, maybe 10 years younger than I am, or, about my own age, because it doesn't just goof around. There's silliness in it, of course, but there's none of this this epithet exchanging of just moronic natures and just You know, people trying to one up people in conversations, and then Kate having that really annoying voice. Whoever that woman is in real life shouldn't have a voice. She should have not got the job. Have another voice or something. Put some other buddy's voice in it. And there's a couple like that in Gears 5 too, where it's mostly the female's voices. And I'm not a misogynistic person. I like and love women. I'm attracted to women. It's just that the voice actors are just so cringy in this game, and I just hate them to death. So as you leave this area and get up the ramp, you're going to be assailed by some enemies that definitely have the higher ground advantage over here. So, one thing, there's an ammo box down here, but what I would recommend, before you pick up the ammo box, go up the stairs and pick up the Gorgon pistol, slot that into your inventory, and then come down here and pick up that box, and then you'll get more ammunition back. But there really is only one more fight after this, so you're not really going to need it. Plus, if you carry your weapons through to the next scenario, and I think scenario is much better than calling them paths and, choices. But on scenario 2, whatever weapons you bring from scenario 1 into 2, it's going to remember what you have, so don't reset a checkpoint or anything like that, because you could possibly screw it up. But I made a mistake there, because I could have got more Gorgon pistol ammo, but it doesn't matter, because once we get to the second scenario, there's going to be a big pile of ammo for us. So I love how you can skip the conversations in this goddamn game too. In Gears of War 4, they make you listen to everything and participate and have to hear all of these stratagems that are going on. And I can't just mute everybody and tell everybody to shut the fuck up and just seal your mouths, you assholes. Here's the pistol. We only got 32, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you got the ammo box first, because there's going to be some more coming up at the beginning of the scenario too. So hop on this. You do need to go on this. I never mind these parts, because you're not in combat and you're not having to deal with the really slow sensitivity of moving the silverbacks, because this thing is not a silverback. This is just a loader. It has no ammunition. It has no fighting capacity. But when you get on the silverbacks, it has all of that fanfare, And then since it's so big or something, you can't move the sensitivity, even though your sensitivity, hopefully, like mine and most good players, is at max sensitivity for every aspect of look sensitivity, target sensitivity, and all those good things. Whenever it says sensitivity, crank it up to the fullest capacity. It will help you the most. It might take you a little while to get used to it, but once you do get used to it, you'll start owning up shit really easily. Now you got a couple of maulers over here. They're not too bad. Now we do have 2 incendiary grenades, and I'm not going to show you where the nades to replace these are, because there's a replacement for the incendiary nades over here. I wouldn't have used the incendiaries if I did not know if there wasn't a replacement for them, but there is a replacement, and I'll let you know where they are as we leave this area. In fact, if I did use them, I'll probably go up there and grab them. Yeah, always grab the incendiaries. I know you can only get 2, but it's just much more helpful than the frag grenades. And this this chapter does culminate with a very difficult fight. And you might find that frag grenades are more helpful on that particular fight. I'll let you know, though. Yeah, okay, so I don't go after them, but over to the left, up the stairs to the left, there is another pair of incendiaries for you guys, okay? You don't need to grab those, because I'm sure there are more coming. In fact, I know there are more incendiaries coming, but here we go. Dockyards, we need to search for fuel. We're going to click RT and then go on the next scenario over here. So this part over here, I would grab a long shot. You notice I still have the torque bow. I'm going to be taking the torque bow into the fight with the Ceripedes and the armored Cantuses. If you want to, it's highly possible to bring torque bow and a boom shot if you want to, because what this enemy is going to do when we come to him is that he's going to scream, and at which point his mouth is going to glow like orangish, some kind of orange, dark orange color, reddish orange, I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. But when you see his mouth turn that color, and we're not talking about the regular Cantus, it's not this Cantus that we're going to be shooting at right now, but you all know the armored Cantuses. When they do that scream, you need to shoot their mouth, and you can shoot their mouth with the boom shot or the torque bow. I do think the torque bow will put them down instantly if you get a direct shot in their mouth. I'm not sure about the boom shot, but the torque bow is really good, and I don't think it needs to be a perfect active reload either. So anytime I say perfect active reload, though, folks, is getting the active reload at the precise frame or frames where you get that damage boost. You still get a damage boost if you're on the gradient of what the active reload is, because there is a kind of like a grace area where if you hit it, you get a standard active reload, which does not give you a faster reload. It might give you an incrementally faster reload. I'm not sure, but the perfect active reloads, those are the ones that are the ones that actually matter the most, because they're going to give you the fastest reload, they're going to give you the most damage boost, and those should take out the armored Cantuses. Now, I do have a technique where I like to tag frag grenades or incendiary grenades, whatever whatever we're talking about. I do like to frag tag on that fight. So if you want the frag grenades, it's all well and good. You'll have more times that you can do it, obviously, because you get twice as many frags as flames. But I think the flames are going to be better. That's just my guess, because the flames are good for getting instant fire damage on enemies, and then having that residual effect of fire as an AoE on the ground, which lingers. And yeah, so don't worry if you come into the last encounter with just two incendiaries rather than 4 frags, because the flames are going to make up for it. They truly will. So on this part, this is a really tough fight, actually. When you get on the silverback, it's hard on the silverback too. I've got killed a couple times while on the silverback. One of the times, it had got destroyed to the point where it blew up, and I knew that it was blowing up, right? But I jumped off and I couldn't roll away in time to get killed from the explosion. So you really need to be careful about that. So we haven't been on a silverback since the very beginning of the walkthrough. So I'll just mention again how this works. You get a chain gun, which has unlimited ammo, but which requires a cooldown. And when you press the A button, you'll go into the other stance, which I like to call rocket stance, in which case you're locked in place after you press the A button, and you get to fire however many missiles that you have. You get a total of 4 per clip, and there is a kind of a lengthy regeneration process until you get more of the missiles. You get an unlimited number of missiles too, but you can only shoot 4 at a time, and then there's quite a bit of cooldown for it. And if an enemy is next to you and you want to just stomp on him, you can press the B button if you're not in the rocket mode. But on this encounter, there's quite a lot of the beasts. I'm forgetting their name. Here we go. See that? I barely dodged away in time on that. The beasts that carry those. Sorry, the maulers. Are they maulers? They're not maulers. I keep forgetting it, but you know what I'm talking about. The beasts that have those guys that ride torques. You need to really be careful of those guys. There's only like 2 or 3 at first. There's also going to be a pretty considerate checkpoint coming up, but you have to do quite a lot of encounters, and you're down here at the beginning of the fight, and these guys definitely have an advantage over you. Not only because they're higher up, but because there's a mounted gun up there too that can put you down very, very quickly. You notice there's a there was a Cantus. He doesn't he won't spawn tickers because the tickers won't be able to get over to us because there's no ramp connecting this area up to the next. I guess I don't have to tell you how careful you need to be with those turrets, but you need to make your way over to the switch that will raise the ramp. You need to really be careful. I've got killed many times pulling that switch just there. If there's a guy in a turret, do not pull that switch. It's just suicide. And behind us, there are some outbuildings that have like they have these doors that kind of look like an archway to the front of them. I think there's 3 of those structures. If I see them in the video, if I for some reason if I look at them, I'll point them out. But those are spawn locations of the beasts. And again, I'm sorry for not recalling their name. But they're over to the right. And if you want to, you can tag frag grenades over to see those buildings over to the right, those white buildings. I think 2 of those are spawning points for those beasts, and I wouldn't recommend tagging grenades in front of those buildings because it's not going to. First of all, it's not going to kill them. Not with 1 grenade, not even with 2. But you're going to be able to kill them with the mortar or the hammer of dawn, or some other way, because they're just not going to be. They're not a threat. Is what they usually are a threat. You know, don't get me wrong. They usually are definitely a threat, but they're just not a threat on this part. So when you are in the second scenario, you definitely want to keep in mind, what you plan to take to that last fight. I'm not going to be giving my teammates anything, as usual, because they really don't deserve anything. I'm the one who deserves stuff. I'm the one that's playing this game. And you need to be careful over here because you have reached the ship, right? But you don't get a checkpoint yet. So you need to be very careful as you come over here. So what I would recommend on that fight, I would recommend far and away a torque bow. You want a maxed out torque bow. You're going to want the incendiary grenades. If you've used them... Oh, do you see what's happening right there? I don't think I've mentioned it, but if an enemy... if one of the lesser enemies is downed, meaning that he's not dead, but you've knocked him over and he's crawling around looking for a revive from the other enemies... if there's any enemy like that crawling around and there's a locust... if there's a Cantus in the fight as well, the Cantus will lift that enemy up, put him back on his feet, and restore some of his HP. He can only do it once, though, per enemy. And one of the main reasons he can only do that is because the next time you kill that enemy, you're just going to kill him outright. He's not going to get downed. So there's a mortar in here. We are going to be picking that up, but I don't want to lug it, back to the office and then back over to here. It's just not worth it. But you might want to pick up the Hammer of Dawn. It's a little risky to use it, but it can result in a lot of good kills, and it's quick about getting the kills too. But the trade-off is that you're put in quite a bit of danger in using it. So once you leave the office, I would pick up a Hammer of Dawn and then go over here and pick up a mortar. There's going to be a Reaver that comes over here, as well as a Barge that drops off Theron guards. Queen's guards, as I think Baird calls them, but it doesn't matter. We almost got killed right there. So notice that there's a Reaver over to the left, and then see those three white structures that are kind of arched? They look like storage facilities. Well, in addition to all this, you're going to have some blood mounts coming out of certain of those doors. I'm not sure if it's all of the doors. We can take a look at it when it happens. But you need to be very careful here. Anytime you shoot the mortar, you want to make sure that the barge has not shot off a projectile anytime soon. So you want to just wait until it shoots off a projectile. Okay, so it looks like the middle and the right door house those blood mount spawns. And if you don't want to use the mortar, you don't have to. You really don't get rushed over here, even though there is a ramp, and the enemies could come up there. But the main thing you really need to watch out for is anybody with torque bows and the barge shooting those fucking projectiles, because you can be shooting your mortar, and in the time it takes for you to get back into cover, you can easily get killed. And the good thing is, once the battle's over, you can go down into this area and loot to your heart's content. I picked up some more torque rounds down there, but I decided to not give my teammates anything. One of the reasons, too, that I couldn't, even if I wanted to give my teammates something, they're all holding snubs, and you can't switch weapons when anyone's holding a snub, because you can't switch sidearms in this game. The same way you can't switch frag grenades or give people frag grenades. So once the battle is concluded, you'll go in here. You're going to get a cutscene after this, I believe. Well, not quite yet. I think there's a little bit more running to do. And if it can give you hope, I did the Cantus and the Serapede fight on my first attempt over here. I almost hesitate to say that, though, because a lot of people might struggle and have a lot of issues. I just happen to not have any issues. It's not that I'm particularly skilled or anything or gifted. It's not that at all. It's just about intelligent movement and finding good placement, and tagging those flames on the ground is so helpful too. So what's going to happen? Also, you see that boomer down there? You cannot get his boom shot. That's for the other teammates to pick up if they so desire, but they're not going to. There is another boom shot that you can get if you want to. So having the boom shot and the torque bow would definitely give you an advantage, but it's not like you don't have an advantage having the Lancer, because the Lancer is very good. So like I said, what's going to happen is that there are 4 egress points for spawns coming up over here for enemies. They come out of different like storage container areas. Like I'm not sure what it is exactly, but there's 4 rooms out of which the enemies can spawn. And if you plant flames right in front of the doors where they come out, you're going to do a ton of damage to enemies and have a lot of residual damage effects for other enemies. And it really works well. So like I said, there's 4 egress points. Now, since you only have 2 flames, you're just going to have to pick and choose which of the 2 egress points you want to put a flame in front of. See, there's a boom shot down here. So if you want the boom shot, it's your last chance to get it over here. So you're going to run all the way up here. There's a one shot over to the right. I may use it, I may not, but I'm going to come in here, restock on my Lancer ammo, pick up the Vulcan gun. And I died many times over here because when you use this gun, there's no cover. And there's a lot of enemies down there with power weapons. And there's a Cantus spraying his weapon, his pistol down there. So this thing has a long reload, but the thing is, one of your teammates should be coming over here. Is it? No, see that crank? The crank part of this Vulcan? If your teammates are on that part and they continually feed you bullets, you don't need to reload. But the thing is, if no one else grabs it, you're going to have to do a lengthy reload. And this weapon does have a finite number of bullets. So I think somebody eventually comes over here. It might even be my wife. Who has it? It's either Jace or the wife that picked it up. But they dropped it just as soon as they fucking picked it up. I'm not sure what that's all about. But so when you are in the Vulcan over here, it's like 50-50 whether one of your teammates is going to come over here and feed you those bullets. So you don't have to reload. Okay, so then there's the one shot over there. I guess I didn't use it. You're going to be in one more room over here, and here is a place that you can pick and choose. I guess that previous boom shot wasn't the last boom shot, so you can actually try to max out that boom shot if you get both of those ones. But I didn't feel the need. I just didn't want to go in there with double power weapons. I just didn't, because the boom shot is difficult to use. I could have capitalized on some cluster kills for damn sure. But after this cutscene, you want to immediately go into cover, start shooting the armored Cantus, and whenever you see his mouth open and glow, that's when you want to stick a torque bow into his mouth, and that will instantly kill him. Right there, see that? It doesn't even have to be that accurate either. It does not have to be dead center. So at this point, we have not yet tagged any of those flames to the ground, but believe me, once this wave is done or near done, I'm gonna go plant some grenades. I think right now, actually. So, sorry, I meant flames. So there's a flame over there. There's a flame over there. How this works is that they'll come out of the doors, and how it relates to you is if you're looking at the door when the spawn is supposed to occur, and a door opens and they're supposed to come out, they won't come out. So if your back is turned, that's when they come out. So if you are looking in the opposite direction of where those doors are supposed to open, then they'll slightly open. But you need to keep shooting these armored Cantuses. At some point, pretty soon, pretty damn soon actually, you're going to have a Cerebeat coming out of here. And he's trouble. He's big trouble. You can't mantle over this. Really frustrating. There's the Cerebeat. Just a moment ago, I was looking in the direction of one of the doors that open over there, and it's still open, so maybe that rule about not looking at the door is not hard and fast. But traditionally, on games such as these types of older games, they like to have you be surprised and have you turn around, and then that's when doors that you're not looking at open. So here's the Cerebeat, and he's going to force you out of cover. But as long as you've cleared up the majority of the spawns that come out here. Also notice that boom shot there. There's some grenades over here too as well. But you need to just keep going into cover. Keep spacing yourself from these enemies as much as possible. And by God, this is not going to hit him because there's a wall in front of him. Really disappointing, but by God, does the torque bow do a damn good job on killing these guys. And like I said, you don't need to be dead center either, which is really nice. So I think at this point, there's just a Cerebeat, and any of the rooms that the enemies come. Oh, okay. You see that? We had another spawn, and they tripped off that flame over there. and they got seriously damaged from that residual fire. At least the ones that trailed after the initial guy that came out that got burned to a crisp. But you can go in those rooms that the enemies were in, such as this. This is a room where the enemies were. But if the Centipede comes in here, you could be looking at some big trouble, some big time trouble actually. So it looks like I did pick up a boom over here. And remember, these Centipedes get faster with more of their body parts that they lose. So the situation is just microtasking a lot, being very versed with your environment, and being accurate with your shots, and trying to clear up the waves that come out of the doors as quickly as possible. And having frag grenades in front of those doors, it's just not as effective as having the flames. So there is and I realize the irony. There's an irony in that you get fewer flame grenades on this campaign, but the flame grenades work a lot better than the frag grenades. In an ideal, lovely world, you would be able to have 4 flames, but they've balanced it because the flames are just so damn powerful. And that, as they say, is the end. And the end of 4-4 Bon Voyage. So I think I'm going to wish you Bon Voyage. So take care, have a nice time, set sail, and be safe, okay? I will see you in 4-6. It is the Watery Grave submarine on rail section. Until we meet each other again, please take care.